She had some sort of accent. Wasn't sure why, considering everyone here seemed to have a country one. You must be the technician that I've heard about. Yeah, I said, blushing. You've been hearing about me. Well, of course, she replied. They've been talking about you for weeks. Reverend Gary is especially excited. I'm Victoria Ruin, she said, holding out her hand for me to shake. Didn't stop blushing. Even when my hand met hers, it was smooth and felt frail to the touch. Aren't you going to tell me your name? She asked. Yeah, of course, I stammered. It's Marcus. Marcus Pale. Well, Marcus Pale, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'll have you know that cellular reception is very poor out in these woods. You can, however, use our telephone. It's a landline connection and shouldn't give you any issues at all. I can take you to it if you'd like. Yeah, sure. I'd appreciate it, I replied, finally collecting myself. She began making her way to the hallway, beckoning me to follow with one hand. I caught sight of a large silver ring on her ring finger. I guess she was married. I mean, of course she was. A woman that beautiful ought to be married, I thought to myself. She led me through the door on the left, where I originally saw the man retrieve the keys. It led to a long hallway similar to the one upstairs. This hallway was narrower, housing fewer doors, all still shut. So tell me, Marcus, she began, where are you from? From Arlington, I answered. And where's that? She asked. Sorry, it's Northern Virginia, I answered, blushing. Oh, that's quite all right, she said, giggling. I've never been up north before. You're lucky to have traveled around. All my life I've been here. Stuck here, that is. I've always wanted to venture out, but... But what? No, it's nothing, she said, biting her lip. She came to a door on the left and opened it. Here we are. You can use this phone, she pointed inside. I thanked her and she entered. The room was tiny, just an upgrade from being considered a pantry. Inside was a small wooden table, clamped to back with an old phone. A single door sat to the side of a small window. A strong collection of breads coated the air, making the cramped space feel even more stuffy. I quickly dialed up my boss and informed him of the situation. He was glad to hear that I arrived all right and went to a speech about ensuring that I represented the company in the best manner possible. Afterwards, he told me to keep up the good work and to call him tomorrow. After hanging up, I was surprised to find Victoria still waiting for me in the hallway. You didn't have to wait for me, I told her. She smiled. Honestly, I have nothing better to do. I've been cooped up in my room for the longest time because of this bloody baby. Oh, I said. I couldn't think of any response. You don't talk much, do you? She asked, still smiling. I shrugged sheepishly. What can I say? I'm a quiet guy. Well, it's a change for sure. You're different from all the men around here. All they do is talk and lecture, and they expect all the woman to do is just listen. It's quite maddening at times. They're all men of the north like you. I blushed at this. Are you the only woman here? I asked, attempting to change the subject. She scoffed. Of course not. I don't know what I'd do if I was. There's two others. Aunt Margaret and Cousin Sophia. You'll meet them later at dinner. You're coming, of course. Her emerald eyes gleamed into my own. I could feel my heart rate slowly increase. My face must have been bright red from blushing. Yeah, of course I will. The smile widened. I've been bored of the past few days. You want to go on a little adventure? Adventure? I repeated. Yeah, I could give you a tour of the place. I'm sure you're wondering where everything is. I really hadn't thought about the place as a whole. The only area that vaguely interested me was the room behind the double doors, but I didn't feel comfortable asking her. Sure, why not? I answered. Good, she said, wrapping her arm around mine. Where do you want to go first? Her perfume engulfed me, smelling of sweet berries and honey, and a smell that was perfect for her. You want me to decide? Yeah, of course. I don't want to bore you, show you every nook and cranny, she answered. I could tell she was reading my face because she added, Come on, I know there's a place you're dying to explore. Oh, well, I started. Yeah? Just spill it out already. I did kind of want to see what was behind the doors in the lobby, I replied, rubbing my neck in shame. Doors? Oh, you mean the congregation room? Yes. I mean, if I can, I understand. Nonsense, let's go, she said, yanking my arm, pulling me until we reached the lobby again. Victoria? I asked as she made her way to the door. Yes? That symbol on the door. Um, what is it? She glanced over to the doors. This is the symbol of our religion. Well, their religion anyway. I've grown tired of all their prayers and sermons. It's all rubbish, really. Rubbish. But if you don't care for it, then why are you here? No, you're right. I don't. I never was into it. Ever since I was a little girl, my father forced me to be a part of it. All I have ever known has been the herb Peach County, apart from my brief stay in the UK. I'm sure you can tell I don't exactly sound like I'm from around here. Yeah, I noticed. You have my aunt to thank for that. Anyway, I've grown really tired of all of it. Like I said earlier, I have to venture out and see the rest of the world. At least my home country. I can't even remember it anymore. So your aunt brought you here. What about your mother? What did she have to say about this? She chuckled softly to herself. I have no memory of my mother. My father told me that she died after I was conceived. I was mainly raised by my aunt. Oh, I'm sorry, I replied softly. I know the feeling. My mother died when I was young, too. We went quiet for a while. Why don't you just leave? I suggested, breaking the silence. I mean, you're not a little girl anymore, right? So you don't have to stay here now. She smiled. Only it was that simple, Marcus. I would love to leave, but some things aren't that simple. She was looking down, rubbing her belly. Oh, I started. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I felt like a complete idiot. My talent for making awkward moments worse was starting to emerge. I was bad at this kind of thing, and even worse at comforting someone. It was mainly the reason why I remained so quiet. Come on, let's not ruin our tour with my story, she interrupted, making her way to the door. Yeah, I said, still feeling guilty. Without even thinking, I asked, so how do we get in? It's locked, right? A smile returned to her face. She turned, giving me off a joking, suspicious expression. How did you know it was locked? I shrugged pathetically, giving off a sheepish grin. I don't know. Aren't most doors in this place locked? It was a poor excuse. I knew it. Uh-huh. You're more audacious than you make yourself out, Mr. Marcus Pale, she said, placing her ring into the small indent. She twisted her wrist to the right, which prompted a soft click. Your ring is a key? I asked in astonishment. What? Does the North not have keys like these? She teased, pulling open one of the doors. Come on. I followed behind the door. Inside the room was huge. The sweet aroma of the lobby seemed to fall flat, sucking out when the door shut. Immediately, the singe of smoke and ash filled the room. The lighting was very poor. What little light was present came from the crack of the door behind us. The room had long hues of seating, lined in rows. The rows made their way to the front of the room, where they stopped before an altar. And from there, a small set of stairs ran up to a large podium. Behind it was a flat table on the altar. The table itself was covered in a white cloth. Near the walls stood tall columns of rigid rock, as if crudely carved, connecting to the ceiling. In between them stood small marble pillars, each housing a brass bowl. What was this place? I must have spoken the question out loud because Victoria answered me. It's a congregation room, silly. Is something burning in here? Yeah, it's from the candles. That's when we're doing our services due to the poor lighting. Why not just install lights? Well, candles are also an important part of our service, she said, almost as if I was supposed to know this already. I diminished it, though, and went through. I climbed up the stairs to the altar, noticing a figure standing beside the podium. He was hard to make out in the shadows. If it wasn't for the strands of light behind us, I wouldn't have even noticed it. I took up my phone and I held it up to the figure, using its backlight. What I saw almost caused me to tumble down the stairs. In front of me, I saw a tall, white statue depicting a strange figure well over my height. Its upper body was a very fit man, holding a strong chest and arms. The arms of the statue hung low, sweeping near its ankles. It only had 3 fingers. The legs appeared inverted, its knees caved inward like a goat's legs, and even more disturbing was the head of the statue. It was a hard sight to bear. head. The head looked to be a sick crossbreed between a dog and a man. It wasn't like the typical depiction seen in Egypt. No, this head was like a dog and a man simultaneously. It had a long, narrow snout that seemed to morph into a mouth of a man. Other parts of its face appeared human-like, while in others indescribable. The eyes were small and beady, staring firmly off into the distance. It held a third eye larger in comparison to the other two in the middle of its forehead. Long, wild hair ran down its face, ending at its shoulders with horns protruding from its back. The statue as a whole stood in a confident pose as if knowing its presence was significant. Victoria? I felt my voice squeak. I could hear an eerie chill fall down my spine, unable to tear my eyes from the horrid view. What is that? I stammered. Walking to me, her eyes carried over to the figure. She seemed unfazed and calm. That is our god, Lanius. The white eye of time.